I've made a start with point. Let's go back to point, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have different constructors to set up these x and y values, but I'm not going to just do it straight away. I'm going to write what we call getter and setter functions so that I can set the x and the y values in different ways. Now, one of the ways I might want to do it is just set the x value. So I'm going to have a method, a public method called setX. Set would be a lot better. Set x, and that's going to take. Well, let's put an a in there rather than an x, and there's a reason for it. Well, let's put the x back in. Sorry, and I'll give you the reason for it. So I'm going to set the x, so it's going to take a value x, and the only thing it's going to do is set the value of x when I call it. So whatever this x is going to be, that x is going to be it. Now, those two words that I've used, this and that, are incredibly important here. Because I've used that x there, that is actually a different x to that one in the same data type. So if I want to set this x, I've got to say that. This dot x equals x. That x. Okay, so I've got a red line underneath. If you've programmed in Java, you've probably spotted the mistake already. This is setting something. It doesn't return any values. Now, when you were in Python, or you had two kinds of things. You had a function and you had a procedure, and a procedure didn't return anything, a function did. Now, this is like a procedure. It doesn't return anything, but we have to tell Java it doesn't return anything, so I need the keyword void. So void means it's not going to do anything at all. So that's the way to set up it's called a method, but it's like a procedure where there is nothing returned. Now, I had to use that keyword this here to distinguish that green x from the black x. So that was the black x there and the green x there. I can drop the keyword this only if I have these as two different variable names. So if I called that a, then I would not need the keyword this. Notice they're both green because the only x is that one. I could do that. X equals a, and it would be happy. So that's a matter of style and a matter of choice. I think I'm going to stick with this method where the two variables are different. It's not going to make any difference in how I call or what I play with, only inside here. But you will see a lot of programs with this dot x, and it can get a little frustrating and confusing. Perhaps you should use it. It's just a matter of style. So I've got my set x. I also need to have another one called set y. So public void set y int a. I'll take an integer and I'm going to say that y equals a. There we go. So now I've got two methods which set these values. So when it was initialized, they were 0, 0. And I needed a method to actually change what they were going to be. So I've now got the fact that I can set a value and tell it what I want it set to, and it will be set there. In the next video, I'm going to extend this a little bit before I start building further constructors.